Hey everybody, Joey here from Maniac for Bricks More. I have a haul for you that is a lot less Lego oriented than normal. I did the whole haul video on my other channel. This will probably go up beforehand, is because that one needs a little bit of tweaking, but I still really enjoy it nonetheless, and I'm going to just talk about the music CDs that I picked up recently. So, in terms of physical and digital media, I kind of go back and forth all the time, whether it's about movies, video games, TV shows, music, all those kinds of things. Some things work better in one way or the other. Some of them are cheaper or more available in one option or another. Some of them just get taken off streaming services, so I say, well, at least I have the DVD copy, so I can always watch it at home. And then other ones, there's TV shows where I'm like, I can't believe you didn't make a box set for the show that's no longer existing. You can't watch it on a streaming service, and it just invites piracy. I don't want to do that and get in trouble for it. So, yeah, it's all over the place when it comes to distribution. I try to do it as best as I can in the most reasonable of ways. And this one was actually a good option. This is the kind of thing that, yes, I can play music in the car anytime I want to, and I can play it through multiple resources, whether it's an MP3 player loaded with stuff personally, or Spotify, or YouTube, or anything like that. But let's say those don't work. Those take a little bit more hardware to get it all together. And my car already is equipped to play CDs. Why don't I just use the CD player? I've also had times where I would try to play music through, online, like with Spotify or YouTube or something like that, and it's in a very spotty area where the internet doesn't pick it up so well. So, nothing will play. Why not have the CDs as a backup? It also makes it easier so I don't have to actually preload a playlist or anything like that. The songs are already together on their own things as a CD, and we're ready to go. So, I was doing some research recently for a Lego Island video, and I actually came across one song from an album that I had no idea about, and I got super hyped about. I'll explain more about that in my main video. And then that led me into this rabbit hole of, maybe I should find more music CDs to bring in the car that I don't already have the music for it in a digital format or whatever. So, here's what I have. 7 albums based on Van Halen. This was a Facebook Marketplace pickup. It was shipped from a brick and mortar music store that had very good service. They were very helpful in not only identifying what they had, what condition it was, and if there was anything related to it that might be worthwhile. And I don't think it was any kind of upselling kind of thing. I mean, sure, sometimes, in retail, that's just how it goes. But I think it was just very helpful. That it's like, okay, you know your stuff. You know about music. I'm looking for Van Halen stuff. And if I ask or I even ponder about other stuff like Mammoth, Sammy Hagar, David Lee Roth, Chickenfoot, those are all in the same sphere as Van Halen. So, at least you understand why those things would come into play, and it was good that they did because it did help me get something I'm going to enjoy. So, starting things off, I believe I put these in chronological order. We have the eponymous Van Halen album, the original Van Halen album on CD. These are all CDs, by the way. Classic songs, pretty much a good album all the way through, in my opinion. I can't really find one that I think is worse or skippable necessarily. Maybe Feel Your Love Tonight is one that I don't play as much in other set lists and things. And maybe a few of them that are just so well known that I can, take a break from them for a bit. But still a lot of recognizable songs from here, from Running with the Devil, the solo Eruption, You Really Got Me, Ain't Talking About Love, straight up out the gate. But there's also a lot of B-roll stuff in here that doesn't make it onto other Van Halen compilations that I think are worth checking out if you haven't already. Jamie's Crying has been sampled in Wild Thing by Tone Loc. If you know that song, that's where that drum and guitar riff came from. So there you go. I know my music stuff sometimes. Van Halen Die Over Down. This was, I think, either the second or third. This was the third or fourth album, if I remember correctly. I think Women and Children might have been before this one, and then Van Halen 2 before that. So this one, not as many recognizable songs. There's still a little bit in there, like Pretty Woman. That cover of it is still very well known. Usually not played with Intruder, even though it does lead into it as its own thing. A lot of good solo stuff that's in here between Cathedral, Intruder, and the little guitars. Maybe not as high ranking as an album, but I still enjoy playing through this one. And maybe, if anything, I skip like the back 3 tracks. But the other ones I still enjoy nonetheless. Van Halen's 1984. This is a monster of an album because just like the first one, it's got some killer hits right out the gate. These are ones that easily get recognized all over the place and constantly played, such as Jump, Panama, Hot for Teacher. Amazing tracks. They definitely deserve their rank. And the fact that they're all in one album like that is awesome. But there's still a lot of good stuff in between. Top Jimmy, I love the beginning of that. It's got a really good riff to it for the first like minute or two to start things up. Even rivaling Hot for Teacher in my opinion. Drop Dead Legs I hear every once in a while on its own. It's only really just the back 2 that I don't know as well. But hey, now I have the album, I can listen to it through more thoroughly. Then we go into the Hagar era. So we already had the David Lee Roth era stuff. Hagar era, we've got OU 812. Now, at some point, it would be really awesome to get every single Van Halen album on CD, possibly some of the Sammy Hagar stuff, the David Lee Roth stuff, the Mammoth stuff. I'm not entirely sure if I want to get all of them, because I can't say I love all of them as much, but, you know, there's still good picks here and there. But, like, the main, you know, band Van Halen stuff, even Van Halen 3, I could get into that. For some reason, though, this is a weird thing. I actually had the CD. I didn't necessarily own it myself as a kid, but I grew up with the CD in my parents' collection, as well as 5150. And they, for some reason, put all of the songs in here alphabetically, even though the track listing has them all over the place. I don't know why they did that on the release, but they did. So I can still recognize them. I've already listened to this quite a bit growing up, so I still can tell these songs apart from each other. Still some good songs in there. Finish What You Started, Feels So Good, Black and Blue. Those are the more standout ones from this album. In my opinion, I really like Naturally Wired and Source of Infection. Those, again, talking about good intros, Source of Infection. First minute or so, listen to that. Killer solo intro. I love that so much. It's a really good hype if you need it. And it's also funny how the album itself kind of has this Beatles vibe. I forget which Beatles album it was that has a similar silhouetting for everybody across the front of it. For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. You know what the abbreviation stands for. So, this album I don't know so well. I do know a couple of songs on here, but this one kind of spurred this whole marathon. With doing some LEGO research, I came across something that said, oh, in LEGO Island 1, there is a track in there that samples a song from Van Halen. And I listened to the song Pleasure Dome, which I've never heard before until like about a week or so ago from this recording, and immediately recognized it. I'm like, oh my god, Van Halen has been in the LEGO Island DNA this whole time. I've grown up with this, and I didn't even know the song. That's amazing. Just listen to the intro of it, and then listen to it's the balcony music for the information center, the third floor elevator music. It comes through right away, sampled in there. It's awesome. This came out in 1991. The game came out in 97. That's why. So I will, of course, elaborate that on other things more on the main channel, but I'm so excited about this on its own. There are a couple other songs in here that I'm curious about just because I've heard like a little bit of them over time. The ones I mainly know from here, from other compilations, would be Pound Cake, Run Around, and Top of the World. I can't say they're very strong Hagar songs, but Pound Cake is cool. It's got a really cool intro once again with like that power drill sound to the guitar. I love it in the music video that it's striped the same way as Eddie's guitar. That's just fun. The rest of the music video is something else. Oh, Right Now? Yeah, we can't talk about this album without talking about Right Now. It's like honestly probably one of my favorite of Hagar era Van Halen tracks. It's one that's actually very powerful and inspirational on its own. I highly recommend that one just on its own. Balance, another album that I don't know as well, based on other compilations that bring together some of these songs. I know Can't Stop Loving You, Strung Out, and Not Enough. Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do is one that I've known, but not because of the compilation. and it's worth looking into. And then the last one we have here is Sammy Hagar Unboxed. This is an album that is really fun because it has a compilation itself from other Sammy Hagar solo projects and other albums. A lot of good songs in here. Some of them actually done with Van Halen before. So Heavy Metal is a recognizable song from here. I Can't Drive 55, everybody identifies as a Van Halen song. It was Sammy Hagar on his own. Three Lock Box is good. Eagles Fly is good. And There's Only One Way to Rock, I believe, was done live with Van Halen on one of their live albums. So there's a couple other ones in here I'm curious about. There's a couple I would love to have on here on CD, but I am willing to explore the rest of these as it is. So, 7 Van Halen related albums. So I got plenty of car driving material for the near future. And I'm going to have a great time with this, especially over the next week where I'm going to be driving to Pennsylvania. So, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to talk with you soon about that Lego Island thing. And have yourself a great day. Let me know your favorite band or your favorite song from Van Halen in the comments down below. And I'll talk to you later.